pesky wild herd of goats are back again. Truffles is scaring them away. Springtime is finally here and the frosty nights are finally behind us. The world is ready for renewal. We've had a dream that's been taking root in our hearts for years. We long to create a cool climate food forest, a place where nature's bounty would flourish in harmony with the land. So today is the perfect day for getting those hands dirty and starting to plant some gorgeous fruit trees. We're really starting to bring our cool climate food forest dreams to life. So with the first rays of spring sun warming the earth, Paul ventured out into the garden, armed with his shovels and his boundless enthusiasm, embarking on a tree planting adventure. Our first choice was a nectarine tree. We've already actually planted that just behind where Paul's standing now. We put up a bit of a barrier for protection around it so that the goats wouldn't eat it. We've learnt the hard way when we're planting new trees and plants on our property. Last lot of trees that we had, the kangaroos ate them, and also some of them burnt in the fire. So the small plastic protectors that we were using really don't help at all out here. So our next choice was a crabapple tree, chosen not only for its delicious tart apples but also for the elegance that it brings to the garden. The delicate blossoms promise so much beauty in spring. And Paul's measuring about 3 meters between each fruit tree and also to the fence as well. I'm so excited to see this crabapple tree big and blossoming. Paul's just collected some old red bricks from our old chimneys that are on the farm. We're going to use the bricks just to protect the base of the fruit trees for a while. Did you know that nectarines are just a peach without the fuzz? It was actually a naturally occurring genetic mutation that is now widely grown for its delectable fruit. The flavours are similar, nectarines and peaches, but the nectarines are generally smaller and have a firmer, crisper texture. The nectarine tree actually likes to be exposed to cold temperatures for certain amounts of time to develop the fruit. But they also need to be protected from strong winds, and this is an area where it really gets a lot of real high winds. So hopefully they will be okay here.
No. No. The cow puppy. No. The cow. Good girl.
Paul trying to teach Truffles not to bark at the cows. So the nectarine trees have rosy pink flowers appearing from early spring, and it's going to be a bit of a competition which tree is more beautiful, I think. You're actually meant to plant them in the ground in winter time, so they've got lots of growing time in spring, so hopefully they'll be okay.
No.
And when you're planting fruit trees, you need to dig a hole twice as wide as the root ball, so the roots aren't all crammed in the hole and they've got room to grow and spread out. And fruit trees need a lot of sun, usually 6 to 8 hours at least, to thrive, so this is a great spot for direct sunlight.
Bye-bye.
If you're new here, welcome. We're a family living off the grid in Australia, and we believe in trying to learn to live more sustainably and in harmony with nature, and learning to cherish every moment that life has to offer. My name is Tina and this is Paul, and we have 2 teenage sons. Our daughter Willow died, and don't forget Truffles.
Hey, come back.
We're trying to create a thriving food forest out here, a haven of biodiversity and a source of wholesome, homegrown goodness. It's not just about growing food, it's about nurturing life and learning from it every step of the way. And this is where we share our ups and downs of our off-grid adventure, from building sustainable off-grid outhouses to cultivating our own fresh produce. We're all about appreciating life's small moments, like sharing a meal together underneath a sky full of stars. So the instructions on the bag say to prune back 50% of the plant, or 50% of the branches, I should say. And then it says when you dig the hole to make a well around the base of the plant and to pour 10 litres of water into the well, and then to water weekly after the plant has been planted in the ground. So this is a Tom Matthews crabapple tree, which has basically got scarlet red flowers, which are complemented by the bronze red foliage. And the flowers are followed by an abundance of medium-sized clusters of small dark red purple fruits from autumn to late winter. This one should grow to be about 3 meters tall. The crabapple can handle frost and down to minus 15 degrees Celsius, which is great because we get below zero quite a lot through the winter. They're usually just grown as an ornamental tree, but the crabapples are so sour that you can't eat them off the tree, but you can actually cook with them with sugar and things, so you can make apple pie. But this cherry tree, we can definitely eat the fruits off the tree for this one. And we've also got a Santa Rosa plum tree, which you can snack off the tree as well. So the plum tree might be our biggest yet. It can grow up to 7 or 8 meters. Hopefully it won't block the view of our beautiful sunsets. If you've got time to prune the tree, you can keep the fruits within reach. The Santa Rosa plum tree variety can mature within 3 to 5 years. The Santa Rosas also self-pollinate, so you don't have to worry about needing other plum trees around. The Santa Rosa plums are delightfully sweet. So Santa Rosas require 500 chill hours, which is below 7 degrees Celsius. So they need cold weather for the part of their growing process. So 500 hours is about 20 days. So I think we would get 20 days. That would be around 7 degrees in wintertime here. It gets to below zero, but sometimes the days get quite warm, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. Hopefully it'll be all right. So Paul's just planting the cherry tree now. This variety has a dark sweet fruit, and it needs 900 chill hours each winter. So hopefully we'll make it there. I believe that some of the cherry trees can grow up to 12 meters tall unless you trim them. So I'm not sure if we planted these fruit trees too closely together. If you're an experienced fruit tree grower and you want to give us some tips, let us know in the comments below. I don't know about you, but cherries remind me of the good Aussie Christmas. Prawns, cold meat and salad, backyard cricket and the ever-present bowl of deep red super sweet cherries. Such a lovely treat on a hot sticky summer's day. And I think some cherry trees can get to over 15 meters tall over time as well. But a beautiful ornamental tree. So we're just adding some pea straw mulch to the top of the plants so that we can stimulate the plant growth, and it nourishes them organically and provides worm and microbial activity. As it breaks down over the next few months, it'll add nitrogen and nutrients to the soil. It also adds as a protective barrier that assists in moisture retention. So hopefully it'll lead to improved soil health and healthier plants. So ideally, a food forest that's working on the permaculture principles will have 7 layers. These 7 layers will mimic the diversity of the natural forest. So it's not like you plant beds with rows of things. It's everything in the garden complements each other and takes advantage of the little microclimates, and you're increasing the biodiversity to ensure healthy soil and plants. So you need to layer your fruit and nut trees with shrubs, ground covers, vines, root crops, and things like that. So the theory is that the 7 layers are, you have your large trees, and then you have your smaller trees, like smaller nut and fruit trees. Then you have shrubs under those, so things like berry shrubs and large perennials. And then you have like your herbs and plants at a lower level, and then you'll have your root crops and ground covers, like things like strawberries and stuff like that. And the vertical layer is the vines, so that climbs in between everything, things like beans and peas and things like that. And each plant or tree is chosen to provide at least 3 uses in the garden. So our large plum tree could not only just provide fruit, it can provide food for the bees, plus it can be a wind shelter for other plants. So if you're placing your like big trees further apart so that the sunlight can penetrate the shrubs and ground covers in between them, then it creates this understory that's partly shaded, and it just helps the ecosystem develop. So because we want a more natural permaculture type food forest, the idea is that the landscape is, or the garden is, imitating nature. So we probably won't have these bricks around the fruit trees forever. We'll just, once they're established and they are not in danger of getting eaten by the wildlife, and we've got some understories and some ground cover, we'll remove those bricks, or at least move them around a bit, so that the system will mimic what's already existing in nature. We'll just need to probably put some compost material around the area, so that these fruit trees are used to, well, they've been designed to grow in areas that are not like the dry Australian soil, and they like that really rich, fertile soil, which we need to sort of develop and build up over time. So some permaculture designs are based on zones as well. So you have the house zone, which is for indoor living spaces. So you might have house plants and seedlings and that sort of thing in that area. And you'll also have rainwater collection from the roof, which we do. And then your next zone might be like a kitchen garden, so where you have garden beds that need regular observation, and they you go to them really frequently as well. We're putting up a little fence around the outside of our fruit trees to try to protect them from the goats and the kangaroos as well, because we've lost so many trees before to the wildlife. Hopefully they'll just need this until they get big and strong, but we'll see how it goes. So getting back to the zones, you have the house zone, then you have the kitchen garden zone, then the next zone is like the larger garden, so you'll have your fruit trees and that sort of thing, and you might need some animals in that kind of zone, so they might need frequent attention as well. Then you'll have the next zone, which will be field crops and grazing, so they might have you might have grazing animals further away, and low intensity crop areas that don't need regular visits or supervision. And then the next zone you have out is things like self-seeding trees and shrubs and wood collection sources. And the final zone is the wilderness, where it's rarely visited by humans. It's not just about what we take from the land, it's about what we give back too. We're passionate about leaving a positive mark on this world and inspiring others to do the same. So whether you're a seasoned off-grid enthusiast or whether you're just curious about sustainable living, we hope you'll join us on our remarkable journey. Together we can all rediscover the beauty of the basics, the joy and simplicity, and the true meaning of a life lived mindfully. Together we can make this world a better place, one sustainable step at a time. So here's the finished product. We've got the Santa Rosa plum tree, the cherry tree. Who doesn't love those red gems? The Tom Matthews crab apple tree, and the nectarine tree. So thanks for joining us on our food forest adventure, and stay tuned to watch our garden flourish and bear fruit. I'll look forward to chatting to you next time.